So hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we've just finished up a new project and I pulled out the camera because I cannot wait to share it with you. Turned out so beautiful, and I think it answers several questions that I've been getting a lot lately about stone. So stone is, it's one of my favorite materials to work with in the garden. It really can dice up and really kind of, make it more interesting. However, stone can stress out a number of tropical plants. So I don't use it unless I'm using it in the right way. So, you can run it throughout the whole bed, and I know a lot of people do that, and I just think it can be interesting in certain areas of the bed, in certain aspects, or the curves, or small sections of the landscape, and then create another area within the landscape bed for mulch only, and that might be for things like copper leaves or Brazilian red cloaks, or things that need to hold moisture a little bit more and can't handle that incredible heat that stone really radiates. So I thought that this job might be a great one to share with you guys. That way I can share with you the stone that we chose to use for it. Funny enough, and this one is not Tahitian gray granite, so there is a couple different stone options, I guess, that I do tend to work with. But I hope you guys like these just as much. We did mix some stone, so we have a little walkway area so my clients can use for their trash cans, and then we have just a nice decorative area of stone, and then we have mulch where we really need it. So I hope this might give you guys some ideas. I think this works super well for front yards or backyards. So I polish it in the front with stone, and in the back, the party's in the back. So it's where where the moisture can happen. So I'm going to flip this camera around, share with you the plant and tree choices that we made for the areas, and then I'll slide in a before picture so you guys can really see what we were dealing with initially. I want to thank Tim and Crystal for letting me showcase their front yard. I know they're extremely pleased with it, and I've been so grateful to work with them. We've had fun with making some changes and adapting the landscape to both of their styles. So it's been a great project. So without further ado, I will turn this around and share with you guys what we did. Okay, so here we are. So as I mentioned, it is not a full heavy landscaping like you would expect from me. This is more of a clean line type of landscaping. I would say it's a little more contemporary, definitely has a tropical flair, but more in the clean lines, pared back type of front yard landscaping that I do like to do from time to time. So that being said, let me share with you quickly the back plant material that's going to really kind of give us some of that fullness that you guys come to expect from my designs. So right here, these are 7 gallons, so they're still pretty small, but there's a trio of Brazilian red cloaks back there. And as you guys know, Brazilian red cloaks are going to get into that 7 to 8 foot range. So they're going to completely engulf this corner behind this giant palm tree here. This is an existing foxtail that was here, and so I kind of need something with some depth back there to really give the front of the landscape a bit of bounce, to give it a barrier back there so it shows off what we did here in the front. This is what I meant here with the mulch. So Brazilian red cloaks like a little bit more moisture than, say, an agave or a foxtail fern. They're going to like to be they like wet feet a little bit more than any of these plants. So putting them in stone can give them more stress if they don't have a bubbler or irrigation system really hitting those areas nice and well. So what we have here is we've got good irrigation in the back, and we've got Brazilian red cloaks there and curly dwarf Java white copper leaves back here. So these are going to be a nice big backdrop here along the foundation of the house. I'm not one to really like the lower parts of the house showing, so I do like something that's going to get about 3.5 foot tall, and these are going to really do that job as a great colorful border. And then of course the pygmy date palm acts as the dead centerpiece for underneath all of these giant column-like trees that were established here. So I think it gives a nice barrier, a nice bit of impact between those two windows. And then flanked on each side is the false agaves. Down below is the little variegated Americana agave. dappled in with some bromeliads just to kind of give us a little bit of interest down there. Down here, these are CARISSA boxwood. I chose them because they're tough. They stay nice and small. They are what we call our typical Florida boxwood or emerald blankets. They stay low, really kind of creep along, but don't outgrow their area. So you can keep them maintained in a little blotch of green right there. So I just kind of have them in key little areas around the boulders, and I'd love to let them grow right to the boulders, and then we'll keep the boulders trimmed. So that way you've got that little blotch of green that really softens the stone. Now, I personally like the way stone and mulch look together. I love the curves, and I'll let you kind of get a better, see if I can get a better angle. The shadows are starting to come out because it's late in the evening, but I have a very busy day tomorrow, and I wanted to try to get this out to you guys today. But I really do like how that curves, and you can see that I chose the stone in all of the areas that's near the pavers, because this is a significant roof line. And when I first came here to do a consultation, there was mulch, and there wasn't even much mulch in the beds. It was pretty much just mainly on the walkway. So I realized that was going to be a problem in the future. So what we did is we really dropped these beds down pretty significantly in depth, so that way we took out tons of roots and tons of old soil and old mulch, and then we brought in our material, our new soil, and of course our mulch and our stone. So that is really going to help kind of keep everything in place. But as it rains, it's going to just keep this nice clean little area right by the front. And then you can see we did edge the mulch from the rock, so that way there is a nice defined line. And then of course we mulched again we edged again the edging from the rock to the side. So that way everything is just really compact and nice and tidy with the stone. So Crystal had these fantastic planters. Are they not cool? I just love that bulbous round base. It's just so fun. And she loves that contemporary design. So she had those, and she thinks she had some bougainvillea trellises in them that were just really struggling. And then she had it placed in the landscape. So it wasn't really, just wasn't really taking off, but she really did like the planters. And I think Tim decided to salvage them and just say, do something with them. And I think they're in the perfect spot now. I don't know, you guys have to tell me what you think, but those Bromeliad Imperialis are going to become 3x3 and absolutely gorgeous when they hit that higher range and really widen out. They're just going to be fantastic. And I think this walkway is plenty big enough to accommodate that. My husband wouldn't say so. He likes to keep plants and everything really away from the walkways, but I don't know, I'm all in your face, and I love to have them set right on those columns. So I think they're going to do a lovely job of that. We do have a blueberry tree there, and I'd love that blueberry tree to continue growing up. That's a Japanese blueberry tree, and I'd love for it to get 6 or 8 foot tall right in this range, just to give this a little bit more backing, to give it a little bit more oomph, because this bed is pretty clean and pretty simple compared to where this bed has quite a bit more punch to it with the bromeliads, and it's just, draws your eye a lot more. So I really did think that this area needed a little bit more weight to make that happen. And I was telling Crystal and Tim that if they brought in a couple hanging baskets and set them there, you can do them just side by side so it stays real contemporary, and then just have maybe some silver or some silver falls kind of falling down as a vine in there, and that would be lovely. And then 1 or 2, now these I would stagger, one higher, one lower, but I think that would be a nice look there too. Right on each wall as you come in, I have giant apostle iris. I love giant apostle iris. I love what they offer as that nice vertical structure in the garden. I just think that they're really cool, really contemporary for a tropical landscape. And I love that flat fan look. I mean, they just look like hands standing there. They really do give the appearance of a very flat iris. They do bloom a purple flower, but they only bloom 3 months a year. So this is their real beauty is this vertical look to them. I use them kind of like people use grasses. I'm just not a fan of grasses because they get so messy so easy, and these are just so easy to keep up with. So they're my go-to. But the purple bloom, those 3 months a year, are showstoppers. Absolutely stunning. They remind me of an orchid bloom. They're just gorgeous. So, and then just down below, we've got foxtail ferns. I did not go crazy with the foxtail ferns. I have a very thin line of them here, and then, you know, just kind of did a little cluster here, and then kept more of a straight line coming up to the entranceway. And then more boulders. I just love these little touches of boulders. These are not big boulders, you guys, but I really do think they're cool in a landscape. I think that they add another whole nother element, a whole nother look in the garden. Then I've got some partial sun bromeliads right here. These are Neos, and they're a mix of Marguerite and Sexy Pink, and they just are going to do super well in this little spot right here underneath the silver odorata. Now this silver odorata is going to completely consume this spot. It's going to get about 2 foot taller, so it's really going to get in this space and then stop, and then it's going to get wider, so it'll probably go to each end of the edging there. But it becomes a big, beautiful silver, just fountain spray of a plant. I just love them. And then this area was kind of, I guess it's kind of just forgotten about over here. And they, when we talked about this space, Crystal really wanted to see a green agave here, so we incorporated a really nice upright feature in the garden. These roots were incredible with this gigantic foxtail that's here, so we really did a good job of, or the guys, I could say, because I didn't do any digging, but my guys did a fantastic job of angling this so that way we can get the plant material in place and get some decent soil in there. But I think it turned out so lovely. The foxtail ferns to the back, as you know, are going to just kind of get that nice little fuzzy 2.5 foot tall range in that area, and they'll be a great backdrop to the whole landscape. And then right swooping, just kind of a nice curve right here, is going to be the little ruby reds, and those are going to be right now they're in the purple tone, but during the summer months they get more of a burgundy tone. So it's going to be green with this deep true color on this bright light colored stone, and then we topped it off with 3 green island ficus, so that way that center really pops once all of these greens come together. So this will connect. I know it doesn't look like it right now, but these will be a nice shiny little collection here. They're real proper, real maintained, real pared back little plantings. So they'll almost be a little rounded little group right here that'll be kind of almost like a little control point, like a hedge, because I wasn't really in love with this point. So we softened it with some sod, but we needed to keep it deep enough to get away from the root system of the bed and to make it scale and make sense with this bed over here. So so the best thing I could think of was just really to add a green ending point and then a swath of some color, then something vertical, pop in a few boulders, and then of course the lovely little foxtail ferns. We do have some collusia back there that are going to grow in and kind of become our coverage. But this area right here is a storage section, and they really wanted to be able to put the trash cans back there. So this is going to be great, being able to roll your trash cans up, and they're all tucked back there nice and neat. And I'm going to answer this question about rock and the proper rock to use for pathways, walkways, little patio areas. So as much as I love this stone, I commonly get people to ask, could we do this stone as, you know, a nice little seating section? And you absolutely can, but I'm going to step on this stone, and I hope it comes across on camera. And you guys, I mean, this is a rolling rock. It really moves, and I really sink when I get into this. Now I'm going to come off of this rock, and then I'm going to step on this rock. I hope that was quiet enough for you to see, but I am really kind of keeping. Now I'm going to go back to the other one. Yeah, it's such a huge difference. This rock, and you kind of see, look at those indents that I put in just stepping down on that rock, and then you see none of that in this rock. This rock stays nice and compact. Now this is not my Tahitian gray granite. This rock does go together, pairs with this coloring so much nicer. but this rock is my secondary option. Tahitian gray granite packs a little bit better because it does not have any of the round rock. This has a few pieces of round rock mixed with more of a pointy, jagged edge. But this rock is a great option too, or if you're going to do a fire pit area and there's going to be, you know, some bare feet or things like that, this is a little bit softer and easier to walk on than the Tahitian gray granite. So this is called Indian Creek rock, and it is a cool looking, let me see if I can get down here without the gimbal going nuts. And it is a nice colored gray rock, and it's a lot of mixed pieces, and that's what really gives you that more compact feel, because once it rains, a few rains, it'll compact even more, where this will always roll on you. So this is a beautiful landscape rock, but not what you want to use for paths or pathways. So, well, you guys, thanks for sharing a few minutes with me. I hope that answers some of your questions on stone versus mulch versus, you know, what should I do in my beds? Should I mix them? Should I invest the money in stone and once and done, and it's, you know, you don't have to worry about remulching? This is a great thing to do. Now Crystal and Tim will only need to touch up those front edges of mulch once all of their landscaping is in. So instead of remulching everything like you would in a normal bed that's more open, I let all of the crazy in the back, which is all the fluffy, the bigger material that's really going to grow in the back. And so those areas are going to get, you're going to see very little mulch, more just along the edges and along the corners. Just the foundation sections along the edges is all you're really going to have to mulch. So maybe 10 bags a year at most for this space. So it's a really easy way to do it and not have to rock your whole area, because this would be an extra maybe yard and a half, 2 yards more if we were to use rock everywhere. So mulch is a fantastic alternative, and it does a nice job of giving you some interest in the garden. All right, you guys, I will see you in the next video.